sexual cultivation and sexual kung fu is really about enjoying yourself. It's about enjoying life. It's about feeling good. It's not being stuck in one extreme or the other. If you can't even enjoy sex and enjoy sexual pleasure because you're so obsessed about never ejaculating, that's no fun either. So it's about finding what works for you. Hey guys, I'm Jonathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can manifest your ideal life. If you want to learn more about sexual mastery, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified when I release new videos and go live. Make sure you get my free ejaculation control course through the link in the video description below. Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to explain how often a man can ejaculate without negatively affecting his health and energy levels. A lot of men have been asking me to explain if there's a certain frequency that men can ejaculate in or should maybe ejaculate in to still get the benefits of semen retention practice and sexual kung fu without depleting their energy as well. So for the Taoists of ancient China, the practice of sexual kung fu was simply one aspect of a healthy lifestyle. And I think it's very, very important to put it in this context, in that sexual health, your sexual cultivation practice, your sexual practice, and semen retention are simply one part of a holistic lifestyle. There's many things that affect your sexual health, but for men, excessive ejaculation tends to be one of the biggest causes of depletion in men's life, as an ejaculation contains significant amounts of minerals, hormones, various resources that are really the essence of the body's energy as well. There's life force in there, right? And spending this energy too much will most certainly result in depletion, which is becoming obvious by how many men are experiencing sexual fatigue symptoms, sexual dysfunctions at earlier and earlier ages. But this isn't to say that a man can never ever ejaculate. The truth is that ejaculation is a natural function of the human body. There's nothing inherently wrong with ejaculating, but the problem is that in our excessive stimulated society, with the advent of pornography, men have been stimulated and conditioned to believe that they should be ejaculating every day, and it becomes as common as brushing their teeth in the evening, right? And this is what causes depletion, is excessive ejaculation. And this leads a lot of men to go from one extreme to the other, where they believe, okay, well, now I can never ever ejaculate, leading themselves to feel frustrated and shameful when they do eventually ejaculate, because it's almost impossible for a man to go his entire life without ejaculating, just to be real with it, right? Eventually, you're probably going to have a wet dream, though some men practicing semen retention will play it off like, no, that doesn't count, and find these little excuses and things like that, right? So I think first, it's most importantly to be completely honest about this, to be very realistic about this. I know that semen retention, a lot of men take this to extremes and get overly obsessed with this practice and claim that it will cure absolutely everything. So I often get these questions from men who've been practicing semen retention for a long time, and they're like, well, I still have, this social anxiety problem. I still have this confidence issue. I still have this emotional issue. The truth is that, again, semen retention is simply stopping a leak. It helps you to build up more energy. And there's a lot of other things that will affect this as well. Again, ejaculation frequency is simply one aspect of a man's overall health and vitality. Check out my other video, The 5 Pillars of Sexual Vitality, to learn more about the other factors that affect sexual health. So having said this, I'm going to share with you some classical Taoist advice on how often a man can ejaculate. First of all, I think it's very important to understand that this pertains to men who are in good health. You don't have a chronic illness. You don't have some serious hormonal imbalance. And unfortunately, these things are becoming more and more common for the average man to experience. So be aware of this, right? But for a man who is in very good health, for his age, I'm going to share a few different formulas that are suggested as far as ejaculation frequency. Number one is you take your age and multiply that by 0.2, and the result that you get will tell you how many days you should go between ejaculations at least. This means that this is the minimum amount of time you should go between ejaculations. For example, I'm 33 years old. 33 times 0.2 is 6.6. This means that I should go a very minimum of 6.6 days between my ejaculations, meaning that if I do this, if I was to ejaculate every 6.6 days, overall, I would not experience a depletion in my energy levels. I wouldn't necessarily be gaining, right? Because for me, I prefer to go longer than 6 days. But if I did go to 6 days, let's say I was a type of person who enjoyed ejaculating so much, I wanted to do it as often as I could without causing negative effects. That means I could go 6.6 days between ejaculations at the very minimum. And so obviously the older you get, the longer this period becomes. Another formula, which I think is simply very simplistic, this was given by Peng Zhu, who is a well-known practitioner of Taoist sexual cultivation. And according to legends, he lived to be several hundred years old. Is that true? Who knows? But he did give us some great advice. And one thing he said was that if a man ejaculates no more than twice a month, he will live to a healthy old age. So twice a month averages to about once every 2 weeks. I think that this is a pretty good timeline for the average man, because for a lot of men, as we live in an overstimulated world and a lot of people are experiencing depletion on some levels, it is probably a good idea for most men to go more than 6 days without ejaculating, right? Though again, depending on your practice, how strong you are in practicing sexual kung fu, if you're doing qigong, if you're doing the practices to circulate sexual energy through your body, you may choose to go longer than 2 weeks. And it may be beneficial to do so, right? To go more than 2 weeks. And one other factor I think it's very important to mention here, I've talked about this in other videos, but basically something that helps you replenish your semen is the foods you eat, the diet, the nutrients you consume. But the problem for a lot of men in this modern world is that they are not eating healthy, and their diets are deficient in a lot of the vitamins and especially the minerals that are needed to produce new semen. And so what happens is the body takes these resources from the organs, from the spine, from the glands to produce the semen. And if you aren't resupplying these nutrients through a proper diet over time, this will deplete you, right? So again, there's so many factors to a man's sexual health. Ejaculation is simply one factor, but again, you may go months without ejaculating but still have low testosterone, still have fatigue, low energy levels, because something else may be off in your lifestyle. You're too stressed, your diet isn't right for your body type, you're not getting enough rest, you're not spending enough time in nature. So semen retention alone and regulating your ejaculation will only do you so much good. If you're neglecting these other areas of a holistic lifestyle, you're only gonna get so much benefit from semen retention. So seeing the bigger picture is helpful so you don't get too obsessive about one thing, get stuck in certain patterns, and learn to enjoy your life more. And one final point I wanna make here is that just as ejaculating too much is very detrimental to a man's sexual health, going too long between ejaculations can also be detrimental in that there seems to be a bit of an atrophy of the endocrine system. It's really a use it or lose it situation, especially men who are doing no FAP. They're having no exercise of the genitals, we could say. I've heard from many men who experience this, and I've experienced this myself, that for going very, very long periods of time without ejaculating, I mean beyond a month, maybe 2 months, 3 months, hormone levels actually start to decline. So testosterone lowers. And again, it's a use it or lose it type situation. There seems to be this balance between having ejaculation at just the right cyclic frequency for yourself that keeps the endocrine in balance. You still get the benefits of semen retention, your hormones are high, your energy levels are high, and you don't feel exhausted from an ejaculation. It doesn't actually make much of a difference when your sexual health and your vitality are strong. And finally, basically the rule for regulating your ejaculation is that if you feel completely wiped out and fatigued the day after ejaculating, maybe a few days after, you feel depressed, you don't have any physical vitality, your body feels weak when you work out at the gym or whatever, your creative energy's gone, then you should probably go longer between ejaculations. And in the end, you have to experiment to see what works for you. And make sure you're not doing this just to like have a number to tell people, oh, I'm so cool, I can go 300 days without ejaculating. Who cares? None of this matters if you don't feel good, if you don't feel balanced, if you don't feel happy. If you live your life trying to please others and impress others, you'll never be satisfied with where you're at in the long run. And how you ejaculate has a dramatic implication as well. It's one thing to be jerking off to porn, just mindlessly rushing to an ejaculatory orgasm to get a quick fix. That will always be a depleting way to experience ejaculation. It's a whole nother thing to have an hour-and-a-half tantric lovemaking session with your partner where you're connected deeply, you're circulating the sexual energy through your body, you're absorbing that essence of the semen so that when you do ejaculate, it's like you're spitting out an empty shell. So how you approach an ejaculation as a man, if you do it consciously with intention, and if you use the sexual kung fu practices to absorb that energy into your body and harvest the essence of that semen, you don't lose anything from an ejaculation. Again, if you're doing it at the right frequency for yourself. So in the end, sexual cultivation and sexual kung fu is really about enjoying yourself. It's about enjoying life. It's about feeling good. It's not being stuck in one extreme or the other. If you can't even enjoy sex and enjoy sexual pleasure because you're so obsessed about never ejaculating, and on the other side, if you're ejaculating so frequently that your sexual vitality is low, you don't have much potency so that you're never actually experiencing very powerful orgasms, that's no fun either. So it's about finding what works for you, recycling that energy through your body to use for other things than just, spitting it out. You're not doing this to impress others or try to control others. You're doing it to find harmony and balance within yourself, to make yourself a better person, to make the world a better place. This is what it's all about. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're ready to go deep into sexual kung fu training, check out my 12-week course, Multi-Orgasmic Man. This is a complete guide for you to learn how to manage your sexual energy, open up the channels of your body so that you can redirect this energy through your whole body, experiencing full body, non-ejaculatory orgasms and lasting for hours in bed. Find more information in the description of this video. Please subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, and leave a comment below. Have a great day, my friends.